there, Ian. Thank you for joining us for Ordinary Stories. Could you just introduce yourselves to us?
Yeah, I'm Ian Faulkner. I am 78 years of age. Most of my life has been as a Christian. I did have a blip when I was 18 when my mum died, and I was a bit upset with God, but that lasted for about 2 years, that's all. I've been involved with churches wherever I've been. My previous church, I did everything from treasurer to chalice to creche, maintenance, you name it, which is no different to what I do now.
Wonderful. So you've really begun to touch on the difference God's made in your life, but would you like to share a little bit more about that?
It might be best if I give you my journey.
Yeah.
My journey, which has been rocky at times, which I've just mentioned, but my early recollection of church was when I was 3. Because at 3 we actually went to school, and the first thing we had to learn was the Lord's Prayer, because it was in fact a Christian school. And we would go to church on a Sunday, but at that time you actually went to Sunday school in the afternoon. So Sunday was church, back home, church, back home, which was fine. I have no end of friends, never a problem. For me, church was the mainstay for children at that time, as was school. In my junior years, I went to the local Church of England school and the local church near where I lived. As well as going to the local church, I also joined the choir. This mostly meant that I was in church most of the weekend. At 14 years of age, I asked my father many times about the war, but he would never speak about it. And I suppose that was difficult for him anyway. I related this to my local vicar. He arranged for me to visit the elderly of the church, A, to give them company, and B, to ask them questions, which was very, very good. Because most of my school friends attended church, my childhood was good. At the age of 18, my mother passed away. That upset me greatly, and I was angry with God. So much so I did not attend church again. That was until one day on a scout camp, feeling down, I went to the open air chapel. While sitting all alone, I could feel a presence, and a warm feeling came over me. To this day, I believe it was God telling me all was well. By that time, I'd moved to Groby, where I rejoined my local church, and in 1981 became a scout leader. After many years, our vicar left. His replacement was not as caring as the previous vicar, or so I thought. That's when I decided to change, and I asked God for help. Excuse me. At that time, Glenfield Hospital were looking for chapel volunteers to assist with Sunday service. So I became a chapel volunteer at Glenfield Hospital for many years. Lots of patients did not have visitors, so I had many conversations with them, which I found very rewarding, and I believe they did too. Later in my life, I moved down to just outside High Wycombe, where I managed to find a wonderful church in Hughenden. It was not long after that I became involved in carrying out many roles, including creche, school visits, treasurer, and still doing scouting at the same time. During this time, the company whom I'd worked for 35 years was taken over, and like most of the company, we were made redundant. Feeling at a low ebb, it was a Sunday sermon that I was looking at the pulpit. Whilst looking at the pulpit, I began to see the face of what I thought was Jesus. At first, I thought it was an illusion. Now I believe I was again being told, all is well. Because after the service, I was drawn aside and asked if I would be interested in assisting setting up a charity hub just outside High Wycombe, which I found very rewarding. During my time in High Wycombe, I met up with my current wife, Kathleen. my first wife, died of motor neuron disease, who I later married. Having been married a short time, we decided to move back to the area I knew. It was then that we joined Emmanuel Church. This has given us both a great family and friends, which we hope will continue for many years. Even with all the turmoil I have experienced in my life, recently losing my son to cancer, and then my best friend to motor neuron disease, I firmly believe that God, together with my church family, has always been with me, giving me the strength and love that I needed. Talking to God is easy, and He will never let you down. He's always there at your side, and His love is amazing.
Oh, Ian, thank you so much for sharing that. His love is amazing.
It is. I can get tearful sometimes about it, but yeah.
I know, you're not the only one.
Oh, no. I mean, some of us can have a sort of fantastic life, but I've had my ups and downs, yeah. But my crowning one was definitely sitting in that open chapel, and nobody will ever convince me to this day that it wasn't God there. It was a feeling that you can't tell anybody about it in so much as to how you actually felt and what was happening. Most people would think you were nuts, but I'm not.
You knew. You knew.
I knew.
Yeah,
because that's why I went there, for some peace. And and it's what happened afterwards. You know, he's guiding you all the time. You've just got to listen, that's all.
Easier said than done sometimes.
It is, as I say, when my mum died, I was furious.
Yeah.
Mainly because she was feeling ill, and my Auntie Edna, who was the matron in Nuneaton, she came over, and straight away hospital. This is when matrons ran hospitals. And I never got a chance to talk to her again. She died. And I think that was the bit, not having a chance to talk. Because there's lots of things I've learned since that I'd like to talk to her about. Having said that, I do talk to her. I have a picture up in my lounge. And she'd be 100 this year.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, she died when she was 40.
Yeah.
So,
if is there a particular verse, or is it that all will be well that you keep returning to in your life?
Yes.
Is that the thing that
it is. All will be well. All you have to do is trust Him, and He will be there.
Yeah.
And He'll put